Pluto in Aquarius is altering our spiritual practices, but how? That's a great question. Let's talk about it. This is going to be a part 2 to a video that I just filmed about Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries ushering in a new religious, air quote for sure, spiritual order of things in the next 14 years. So if you want to go catch part 1, if not, this is kind of like an extra part of that has to do with Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. Saturn, for the next 3 years, is going to be in Aries with Neptune. Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries are helping to bring through a very, very structured start of new spiritual order, new spiritual structure, new patterns, new spiritual time also. Literally like a new time, a new era, but then also like how people are relating the time in their lives to their practices. For example, how much time are you spending at the altar? That's a great example. Or do you incorporate other time in your daily life not at the altar, and how do you do that? There's a lot of different ways that could be applicable. True. So this coming era is setting us up. But when I say era, 14 years of Neptune's transit through Aries, that's setting us up for the next 165 years that Neptune is going to be transiting the whole entire astrological wheel, where a new spiritual order will be birthed, lived in, and we will reap several different harvests from Neptune's transits in other signs based on how we start things in Neptune and Aries. Now, Pluto being in Aquarius, okay, I love Pluto. I'm Team Pluto, that is for sure. I'm also Team Saturn. We're Team Saturn and Team Pluto over here. I don't know about you, but I know about me, and that's what I got going on. So, Pluto being in Aquarius, let's go back to that. Track it back. Ruled by Saturn and Uranus, Aquarius is. Uranus is the primordial parent that births time, order, and structure, Saturn. So the Aquarius winds is what I call them. It's an air sign. The Aquarius winds are these really big, primordial, usually very magical, that are unexplainable, unpredictable, chaotic also. Okay, very chaotic sometimes. Winds that come in and they change society. It's like these huge trends that have been just waiting to show up, and then all of a sudden there they are. Also, it's the winds that change groups of people's minds. So instead of your mind being changed, just like the group of people that you're around or that you're with, it could be the place that you live, however that might be applicable to you. Yeah, and the big winds coming through to change those people's minds specifically on a local community, however your like regions or like bubbles of space that you live in could be applicable. But it also has to do with who you associate with. A lot of people before Pluto entered Aquarius, so at the end of Pluto in Capricorn, late 2024, and really we saw Pluto enter Aquarius in 2024, so also 2023. And Pluto takes a long time, so it could have been 2022, 2021, maybe even 2020, that you're starting to see the end of things. Pluto's also a planet of death, so it is, okay. We had the South Node in Scorpio 2021 to 2023, so definitely heavy in that energy of leaving people, leaving places, leaving things you didn't agree with, leaving things you did not want to be associated with anymore because you just we're not going to be there for the winds to come through. Sometimes when you're around people that don't necessarily agree with you and don't necessarily agree with your purpose, that's a more dangerous position and situation than being alone, Pluto in Aquarius discernment. Okay, so the big winds that come in to change our minds while Saturn is in Aries and while Neptune is in Aries for the next about 3 years. Neptune again is going to be 14 years, but they're going to be there together for about 3 years. And Saturn and Neptune are ushering in new spiritual order. We're birthing something. We're birthing something that we're not even gonna have like the full understanding of for another like 20-ish years, which is crazy to me. But that's the theme of new spiritual order. It's hierarchy, any hierarchy, spiritual or not. I think it doesn't get built overnight, right? It has to be built meticulously. You gotta be discerned about things. You gotta do checks. You gotta do safety checks. You gotta wear a hard hat in the construction zone. Okay. So we've got a lot of work to do if that's really something that we want to see happen. I would like to see that change in the world. I think it would be good for us. I think it would be healthy for us as long as the changes are healthy. Side note concluded though, not to be alluded to. Pluto being in Aquarius, while this new birth of spiritual order is happening for the next 3 years, we're gonna be wrapping ourselves up in contracts that we probably don't even understand for, again, another about 14 or 15 years when Neptune starts to exit Aries. That's a long time, okay? That is a very long time. We're also gonna see who we are associated with and how we associate with them Again, where you live, how you live, who you talk to, who you don't talk to. Could be just random people that you pass by. Could be your friend groups. It could be your colleagues. It could be your family. You get the picture. Aquarius is everybody in society. So yeah. If you're someone who has the ability to listen in to the darkness, to the shadows, to the underworld, to the things that people normally don't listen to in society. It might be normal for me, it might be normal for you, but as a society, it might not necessarily be normal. Okay, I'm gonna air quote it, normal. Not only will you be receiving the secrets that need to be so that you can have the new spiritual order that you need and for the people that you're associated with, you're probably also gonna see some things you maybe didn't want to see. Not me stuttering, okay? Goodness. You're probably going to see some things that you maybe didn't want to see. But with the way that Pluto's set up, that's to make sure that you know about the big primordial winds that are coming in that are going to change people. Sometimes it's just time for things to happen. I don't know exactly what that would be in our society or how it would be or when it would be or you know, you with me on it? Okay. I don't know exactly how, when, I don't know. What I do know is that people who are able to listen to those big primordial winds right now, they're going to know ahead of time. And because you're going to know ahead of time, you're going to be able to make decisions that are going to affect everybody else. Pluto, part of it is forced exchange. So if you know the secrets and other people don't because you practice and you listen and you're paying attention because you practice in the spirit and you listen in the spirit, okay, well then the stuff that you need to know is going to be brought to you, and it's going to be brought to you because the primordial winds have decided it's time that you understand, because some things are going to happen eventually. Aquarius, again, is unpredictable. Even though Saturn is there and it's the god of time, the unpredictability includes how much time between when a prophecy or information is received and when it could be possible to play out. Because not everything, this is the other thing about Aquarius, is that not everything, how do I explain this? Just because you receive a prophecy doesn't mean it's necessarily going to come true. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Prophecy is like the done deal. It's the seal. But when it comes to like divination and those sorts of different messages, just have discernment in your relationships with the spirits. You're going to know what's like gonna happen and what's not. Sometimes we get to see the possibilities of how those things open up, you know? And sometimes because they're possible doesn't mean that we have to go through with them. That's what I mean discernment. Prophecy, in my practice at least, is very different. It's like something that's been bound, that's been wound, and now it has to be. Which is kind of what brings me back to Pluto and Aquarius, and Pluto being forced exchanges as people who are listening in the spiritual practices, because Saturn is still going to be with Neptune at the beginning of Neptune and Aries for about 3 years. And we're at the beginning of Pluto and Aquarius. Okay, so like the spirits could be bringing you some really big messages about some really big societal changes for the coming 20-ish years while Pluto's in Aquarius. And honestly, maybe a little bit beyond that. I have said it for months now, and I'm gonna say it again. Spiritual practitioners are gonna have a leg up in the coming eras. So clock it and lock in how you need to. Okay. Because people who are practicing and people who are listening in that Plutonian secret sort of space, those secrets are going to be what shapes society. The people who receive those secrets and what we decide to do with them, because it's going to be different for everybody. Everyone who receives those secrets, yeah, we're going to be tuned into the same wind, but it could be a different group of wind. It could be a different stream of wind, you know? So not everybody's going to be focused on the same thing, which honestly, good, because it takes a lot of people. It takes everybody. A lot of people, it takes everybody. Aquarius, the people in society. So if you're someone who receives those secrets, you know you got a purpose, you know you're on a mission of some kind, you know you got things to do, start listening for about 3 years. There's going to be some things that more than likely, if this resonates at all, that the spirits are probably going to be bringing in while Saturn and Neptune are both in Aries together, because the birth that's currently happening, it's bigger than you and me. It's bigger than even our societies that we live in right now, which is a freaking wild thought, but it's a real thing. So it is. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Thanks for sticking all the way through the video. Keep up your brew. I'll talk to you soon. I'm putting together a bigger update on my Substack right now about Neptune and Aries and kind of like things to focus on, spiritual rights, things like that, things of that nature. It's what inspired me to hop over here and make these videos. So if you want to catch that, the link's in the bio. And if you're already over there, thanks. It's good to see you. I appreciate the support. That's pretty much it for now. I'll talk to you soon. True.